Well, hey, howdy. Good morning to you. Happy Day of Thanks. Happy Turkey Day. Um, Gobble till you wobble. Anyhow, so I've got some bad news. Looks like BFS season is all wrapped up for your boy. Most of the lakes and ponds have ice. Well, about a month ago, there was trophy-sized lake trout stocked here, and I figured I would do some late fall fishing, but clearly that's not going to happen because, you know, looks can be deceiving, but it's snowing right now. Here's a rock. Guess I can't fish here, huh, guys? Gotta love living in the north. I am so jealous of you folks that live in the south right now. This is unreal. I thought maybe it was just a thin layer, so you could see two rocks out there. I threw both of those. This is thick ice. Go. Oh no. We got ice. I don't think we're gonna be able to fish this today. Let's throw it out there, see if we can punch through. Nope. Oh, look at the bait skittering around out there. Dang, that sucks, bro. Um, I was out trying to get out to all these spots. We did have a high of 50 yesterday randomly. It's been like low 40s, upper 30s for like the past, I want to say 3 weeks to month now. Um, so is the life of a Vermonter. The saying goes, if you don't like the weather, stay a while. You never know what's going to happen. We had a drought during the summer, then we had almost flood situations during a portion of the fall, and it's just been chaos. It's all over the place. But there is snow on the mountains in the clips, as you have seen. Most of the lakes and ponds are iced over at this point. Um, so I kind of have to move to the rivers and creeks. And the things about those is that they're pretty shallow. So most of the fish are pushing downstream to the more southern regions where it's deeper. So, like Massachusetts portion of the Connecticut River probably has all the fish that were up in Vermont at this point. So, I tried to get out there. I tried to get some catch clips, but there was, I think, nothing to be biting where I was casting. There was that one spot. There was a lake that is constantly wind blown, so that helps mix the water. And that, for whatever reason, didn't have ice. I think that constant wind-blown area and the mixing of the water kept the temperature, at bay and made it so that the ice didn't melt. But I did get to test out new stuff, and that's what I want to share with you today. I really like the Pop X stick. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't really been watching, I like to carry a maximum of 3 rods for any situation because I never know where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be targeting day to day. Whenever I get a chance to fish, I do. So I usually have a short trout setup for stream and creek. I usually have a plugging rod for bass, so something that's moderate to slow action, something that I can impart those jerks with properly. Um, and something that works well with topwater. So topwater and plugging, I kind of at the moment have the same rod for, and then I have a jigging rod for bass as well. So yeah, the PopX stick from Megabass, the Destroyer P5 series, that was a new rod to me. I got it a few weeks ago. I only got to test it out like 2 or 3 times, and unfortunately, I think I've had like one bite on it. Well, since all the lakes and ponds are frozen, as of probably last weekend, we're gonna try fishing the good old Connecticut. Water's up pretty high, looks like. I think first we'll try this PopX stick, because this is a pretty new rod for me. I just picked it up like a week and a half ago, and I really haven't gotten a chance to fish it too much. So we're just out here trying new things. Got the mittens on. We have a high of 38 degrees today. So let's see what we can get into, I guess. I'm wishing the water was a little bit lower because all of the casting is pretty much gone here. Probably should have put on some wading gear here. Let's go over to the docking area, because it kind of drops off in this area, so I have a better chance with deeper water over here. Nothing on that one. I want to actually bring my rods, I think, over my other rod. I'm not just going to leave it sitting over there. That was kind of a dumb choice on my part. Pardon my voice too. I came down with something that my daughter's got. She had it for like 2 weeks. Lots of phlegm. Just a mild cold, really nothing other than throat congestion, irritation. It's not really in my nose too much. It's just, I'm hoping it's not strep, to be honest, but we'll see. I've only had it for a couple days, but it's definitely not fun to talk. Try over here where Black River meets the Connecticut. See if we can't get out far enough. Yes, that's correct. You do see snow right now. Boy, fishing with these gloves is not ideal. So I like the action on the PopX stick. I know it's made for topwater, but it's working just well for jerks.
It's getting out there a good ways. It's just stiff enough where you feel pretty solid on those jerks. And it's providing pretty good action too.
That's it, because the weather's been just craziness here, and so unfortunately it's gonna have to wait till spring probably to see most of the bites. I also noticed that in Vermont there's kind of this weird situation where shad is endangered. So um, these fish are not feeding on shad. The typical bait fish is perch or bluegill around here. So I have to nix a lot of my baits because of the lack of any type of shad. Um, and also I think that's why in a lot of these areas jigging does extremely well. Anything that has a craw or salamander profile to it is the juice in Vermont, because those are abundant and they're everywhere, and they're the most typical forage for mid to large size fish. Those are the actual meals. The fish tend to not eat each other unless they're trout. The trout go nuts for the jerk minnows. But yeah, I mean, I've caught a few bass on a crank and on a jerk minnow, but typically the bites are more consistent with jigs. So if you're coming to Vermont, I would say this time of year, late fall, we happen to have an early winter this year. So in a typical fall, you would want to use a compact jig. Those are just the best. You can go reference the video that I dropped a few weeks ago, best compact jig. I was hammering them. Okay. Caught a large guy right at my local reservoir, which is tiny. I think the maximum depth of the local reservoir was like 10 feet, and I pulled out a 3-pounder. So that's pretty cool. And the jig did it. So, but anyhow, so the Pop X stick is good. I also tried out a new fluorocarbon, for me anyhow. It's not new to the game. I know those Tactical Bassin boys loved it, so I tried it, and I agree. It's marginally better, in my opinion, than the Sunline FC Sniper, which is what I was using before. So the suppleness is about the same, which is important for BFS. You don't really want rigid fluorocarbon because you're just going to bounce off your spool. And it seems to be holding up pretty well in that thinner diameter, which is important because that's what we're using when we're in BFS. I know some guys do 10 to 12 pound. But if you're really throwing tiny stuff and still using fluorocarbon, that 10 to 12 pounds doesn't really work so great for baits that are like under a quarter ounce. So if you're tournament fishing and using shallower spools for like speed and distance, and you're still throwing like 3/8, a reel that comes to mind is like the Daiwa SV Boost. Any of those reels that have that SV Boost spool, like the Steez, there's like Tatula, whatever. You know what I'm saying. If you're privy, good on you. But that SV Boost spool is like it borders the line between BFS and regular bait casting. So for that application, 10 to 12 pound, good to go. But for most of us, we're sticking to like 7-pound max, and that's what I throw, the 7-pound max. So I like the Daiwa Samurai Hidden Fluoro. in 7 pound for a few reasons. One, it fits on this tippet bar of my bag that I carry everywhere. Two, I don't have to use these little Varivis spool retainers. Like these are just like glorified hair ties that fit your spools. So I have some leaders, got some braid. But with the Daiwa, it comes with this little insert, this plastic insert that keeps your line where it needs to be, and you just pull it out from there and feed it. And it's amazing because I always have the line there. Especially with fluorocarbon, it's important to have this because it'll jump off the spool. You know, it's got that initial memory that, you know, we like to stretch out. I always recommend trying to stretch your line first, like crank down your drag when you're spooling on with this stuff, and just put some tension on that while you're spooling so it stretches out. I tried the FC Sniper with the spool stopper, but I think that the elastic in the spool stopper puts a little bit too much tension on this spool, on your bulk spool, and it didn't come off as well. So I really enjoy this. I think for 28 bucks, you can get 200 meters, which is about 4 spools. You know, versus the $17 to $18 you're paying for 100 meters of FC Sniper. So you're saving a good, you know, 10 to 15 bucks, depending on if you buy this on sale, where you get it, you know, yada yada. Price variances.
All right, we shed some gear. We're gonna try 1/4 ounce blade bait OSP override before we give up for the day, because we're snowing right now. Water's extremely cold. It's cold out here. I don't really feel like doing this, to be honest, but we're gonna give it a go. This is casting really well. This fluorocarbon is staying immaculate too. I have to say, I'm really, really happy in this choice in fluorocarbon. Yeah. Okay, there ain't nothing here. What I mean by ain't nothing here is there's nothing towards the shore, so I'm gonna keep trying. I will say I really enjoy casting this versus the shaky head-esque setup that I just had. So okay, that's where we want to be for spool tension. Snow's really coming down now. Very nice action. Very nice yo-yoing action here. Oh, picked up somebody else's rig. Jesus. Well, at least we know we're getting down to bottom, right? What in the hell? Oh, this looks like somebody's steel leader here.
Also, we were tossing those blade baits because I heard they work really well during winter. Unfortunately, they didn't come to me until after the cold snap, so I wasn't able to fish them effectively, but I was able to, pardon me, let's just tuck that away. Yeah, I wasn't able to get any bites on them, but I do think they'll be nice come springtime, early spring, when the water's still cold. I think when the appetites of the fish are reinvigorated and the ice is gone, I think that'll be the juice, because Vermont has cold water, like I want to say like 6 to 7 months out of the year. So yeah, blade baits. This is the OSP Override. These things cast a country mile on the BFS. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe it's because I do side cast and it happens to be just like skipping a rock, It's aerodynamic when it's like this, right? So you'll see in the footage, or you did see, depending on how I edit, these things just absolutely send. This is 1/4 ounce, tiny little guy, definitely BFS, but it's all a metal blade. And you fish this, if you're fishing from the bank, you fish this much like a chatterbait. So you'll pop, feel 3 or 4 vibrations, and then let it go down, and just keep doing that and reel a little bit as you're going, work your way back to the bank. It's very similar to a chatter. You can, if you're in a kayak or in a boat and you're out in deep water, you can just sink these and yo-yo them off the bottom, not really retrieving, but just kind of bouncing them up and down there.
All right, now that I've wasted way too much time with messing around on breaks, let's actually make some casts and see if we can't catch something. Now that we have appropriate amount of line on. Boy, I thought I stretched this out, but I guess not. I think it's because I do a side cast, but Dang, the distance you get on this freaking thing is amazing.
I decided to swap out the hooks on these. So OSB stock has these two hooks. They're on like a almost like a Y shape. I probably should have got some footage. Actually, I think I did showcase the bait a little bit in the testing clip. So, but basically, their system is there's two hooks that come up and they have like this attachment point. So you literally just um, put one part of the hook through the hole and it's there and it can go up. So it's not like a normal treble, it can go up. It's okay. I've heard people say that they just come out on them. So I wanted something a little bit more permanent that was still going to stay out of the way. So I opted for these Van Fook drift hooks and I put these on all my trout baits. And yeah, other than it being a really big pain in the butt to get the snap rings on, I think in retrospect I probably should have gone split ring. But you know, c'est la vie. It is what it is. I think these will work just as well because they want to move out of the way, right? And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, the front hook's backwards." Oh, that's to stay weedless. So because this is a bottom contact, and if you the other way to retrieve it is burning it, you're gonna notice that these should stay out of the way a lot better than any other hook. And I also did that with the Dyna Response from Megabass, the other blade that I purchased at the same time, same size, 1/4 ounce. But yeah, these should be really good early spring, cold water. These are the juice, get that vibration out. It wags back and forth really fast, and you can feel it on your line when you're doing it properly. You pop it, and it goes, and then you let it go, and keep doing that. You can see that this is definitely, I'm trying to hide my greasy hands. I was working on a dryer, and my hands got stained by the grease, but ignore the dirty fingers. But yeah, you can tell that like these just maintain bottom contact, that jaw and that front area. When you swim it, it's like this. It's digging in to the gravel, and and it's gonna get beat up. It's a bottom contact bait, But anyhow, those are the new things that I got. The blade baits, the fluorocarbon, and the rod. And I'm just glad that I was able to cast into water at least 2 different locations. Even though I had to fish the Connecticut, which is typically barren. I think there's a short window where there's not a ton of people driving their boats up and down there scaring away fish, and then once winter hits, they all go down south to the deeper areas of the river. C'est la vie. I think I would have more luck if I could find an area of the Black River that was accessible right before it dumps into the Connecticut. So I might try and do that still. We'll see. I don't know. I think with how cold it is, the fish aren't really pushed up in those branch streams anymore. Like I said, they're probably down south. It is what it is. I went out there. I tested the gear. With Black Friday being tomorrow, maybe we get some more gear for ourselves around Christmas time. We'll see. I get an annual bonus, and I think I'm going to set a portion of that aside for the new Daiwa Steez reel that's coming out. We'll see. I want to get some opinions on it first before I pull the trigger, but I think that might be the move because it is a BFS reel. So 2026 Daiwa Steez is the SV Lite, and want to get my hands on it for sure. But anyhow, hope you enjoyed the non-catch clips. These simple reviews on some new toys that I've acquired over the past couple weeks. And, if you're down south and you still got warm water and you have a true fall right now, consider yourself lucky because your boy's done. There's other things that I'm going to be putting out. I do a weekly review on stuff. I've got a list of ideas here to carry us through winter. And keep coming back. We'll have fresh content for you. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy time with your family and maybe binge watch some of my channel. Till the next one, toss the tiny stuff, catch the big stuff. A-dubs out.